back to the big picture.
Welcome back to the big picture. Joining us right now, the executive director of BIA, Todd Bowen. Thank you for coming on today.
Absolutely. Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here.
And for those who do not know what BIA stands for, it stands for
the Building Industry Association of Central Ohio. So we're the trade association that represent residential home builders, single family, multifamily. Think of that as residential broadly defined.
And safe to say, you guys have been busy.
We have been absolutely busy.
Right?
Yes.
Columbus is growing, but we got a really interesting study from Construction Coverage, and they said most houses in Columbus were built in 1984. What do you have to say to that?
Well, it's fascinating. So number one, when we think about housing, we are being in the Central Ohio region is the place to be. We are driving a lot of the economic growth, the opportunity in Central Ohio. But along with that does come that we need to house more people. And this fact that our housing stock is aging is certainly a part of that equation.
So when people are buying, older homes, is it better for them to renovate them or just kind of build a new one?
I would say that kind of we as a society, we need to think about it not in just is it rather than, but in addition to. One of the problems that we've had in our region and in our country as a whole is that we have not kept up with building new housing stock. And that is a contributor to the aging housing stock. And as you know, when you have aging housing stock, along with that come increased costs in maintaining your home. So certainly we've got a great remodeling community here in Central Ohio. They do a wonderful job, but there are costs to that. So we need to do kind of an all of the above approach, to invest in our existing housing, but also build more housing.
Yeah, and at least, 1984, it does, you think, you're like, oh, that's not that long ago. But
it was long ago.
But you're at least new enough that you're not dealing with some of the issues we see in, older homes of asbestos, lead paint, non-grounded wiring.
Foundations
at least by 1984, a lot of that stuff had already been, mothballed.
Absolutely. So when you think of Central Ohio, while 43 years as the average age is a long time, our average age of our housing is not the same as some other communities that have even more aging housing stock.
Because another town that's growing almost just as fast, if not faster now, is Buffalo, New York, and a lot of the housing stock in Buffalo is getting some significant years behind it. So when it comes to trying to squeeze in new housing in already developed neighborhoods, because we see this in different parts of Columbus where we're dropping in new houses next to older homes. Is there any challenges that come with that when we try to pop up, continue to flesh out our housing need?
When we think about the housing need that our region has, I think we need to think about that robustly. I always say when I talk about this issue, robust housing options are vital to vibrant, thriving communities. And we need to think about it as in an all of the above manner. So certainly what you talk about, we call that creative infill opportunities, where you are building newer housing stock largely in those center cities. And we do need to do that. We have some great opportunities to do that here in Central Ohio. And I want to give it a shout out to the mayors. So the zone in work that they're doing to embrace more opportunities here in Central Ohio, that is absolutely essential. But we also need to pursue kind of those, we think of them as traditional attainable housing for first and second time home buyers. Think of those as single family in traditional subdivisions. We also need to build those bigger, more luxurious homes to attract those executives to Central Ohio from the companies that we're bringing here. And we also need to build those cool, walkable, denser lifestyle communities that attract a lot of the 20 and 30-year-olds that we want to have come to Central Ohio as well.
Right, and a lot of the homes that we think of as starter homes, whether that be in like the Southeast Moore neighborhood, that are the smaller, 1,000, 1,100 square foot homes that are, they were built, those were obviously built in the late 50s, 60s, but is there any market for new construction of homes that size anymore?
Absolutely. There is a significant market for those smaller homes. When I think about some of the things that we need from a policy perspective, kind of rethinking lot sizes and densities is part of that. Streamlining the zoning process is another part of that. Those are all essential to giving more opportunities, more consumer choice, and more variety of housing here in Central Ohio, because we definitely needed all of the above to be successful.
When I look at a city like Nashville compared to Columbus, their new builds are very vertical, up and down. Is that something Columbus is looking at, kind of adapting instead of just kind of spreading out wider?
Absolutely. With their zone in phase, and we talked about that as the infill opportunities, they are going to allow greater density kind of as a matter of right than they did previously. Columbus has not redone their zoning in about 70 years. And the way we build has changed. So part of that is, and I heard an interesting statistic that a significant number of new builds in the city of Columbus need a zoning variance. So as they work on their zoning, they're going to try to have one of the goals be the fewer variances, which should streamline the process and make it easier for builders to build those denser homes.
How does sustainability factor into all of this?
Yeah, so certainly when you think about aging housing stock, and certainly one of the things that consumers should do is try to make their home as energy efficient as possible. But we're building with newer standards today than we used to build. So that does make those homes really more energy efficient, more sustainable than those built 40 years ago.
All right.
Okay. Well, awesome. Is there anything else you'd like to add today?
Yeah, just one of the things that I want to stress is that certainly there are some things that local communities can do to make it easier to build, but I think we also all need to have a mindset shift amongst ourselves. We need to view one of our jobs is to be cheerleaders for our regions. I think we're going to run up against a wall where we've brought new jobs to Central Ohio, but housing has become an issue, is going to become even more of an issue. So we need to have a mindset shift and welcome those robust housing options into our community.
Is there a neighborhood that you can point out that and just say like they're doing it all right that you can think of?
Yeah, so a couple of neighborhoods that I will mention. One, I think in the recent census data, we saw that Madison County has overtaken Delaware and Union as the fastest growing per capita. Delaware and Union are probably growing more from a raw numbers, but Plain City would be a city, sits on the Union County, Madison County border, but more in Madison County. And they have certainly been welcoming with both mindset and the rules that they're putting in place to robust housing options.
Right, because Plain City has grown substantially. I mean, there's that whole new housing development there, kind of off to the east side now. I mean, it's huge, and it's the same issue that Jonathan Alder
build a house there.
Talking about adding on to the school buildings because they're out of space.
They're out of space. Yeah.
I think we can all feel a little bit resistant to change. We want things to be the way we always wanted them to be. But, in order to be the region that we can be, we want to be an area for economic opportunity. But we also want to be that place that our kids and grandkids want to come back to and live in as well. And to do that, we need to have robust housing options to welcome them.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure.